Valley, Bubbly Holiday.
Let's Talk is back. The TV talk show hosted by Gary Marino airs live at 8 p.m. on Mondays. Real conversations with key figures in public life, going beyond the sound bites to explore and contextualize current affairs. And there's lots to talk about: jobs, tax reform, our changing economy, education, crime, and the environment. Discussing the issues that matter in depth and with personality. A new studio, a new look for a new season. That's Let's Talk. Live Mondays at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9 and repeated at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m.
You can count on us.
Your choice: potatoes, 5-pound bag, just $4.99. Fresh Purdue chicken drumsticks at $1.89 per pound. Kraft mayonnaise, 30-ounce jar, hot price, $5.59. Tama macaroni, 500-gram bag, only $1.89. Yoplait yogurt, 6-ounce tub, hot price, 99 cents. Have a very Merry Christmas from the marketplace.
You can count on us.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Wednesday, December the 12th. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. Police have been handed a new guidance policy to issue cautions to individuals who commit low-level offenses. We sat down with the director of the Department of Public Prosecutions earlier today. First-time offenders may not have to appear in court charged with an offense under the guidance for formal police cautions. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Larry Mussenden, has formally issued the guidance to the police service, which was a provision under the Police and Criminal Evidence Amendment Act 2016.
There are things like common assault, there are things like affray, taking a vehicle, a number of things like that that can be taken into account.
Are there drug offenses that fall under this?
There's no drug offenses in this particular caution.
You'll recall any persons found with what police suspect to be cannabis will still be arrested. The material is tested, then if it's found to be cannabis, weighs under 7 grams, and there's evidence of it being for personal use, the individual will not be charged. Crimes not covered under the new caution policy include stalking, as well as
unlawful assembly, going armed in public so as to cause terror, false claims by public officers, insulting a witness, refusal by public officers, deserting a child under 14 years, intimidation. Those kinds of offenses are excluded from the caution policy, and the Bermuda Police would have to send those files to my office for a review.
Repeat offenders will not be granted caution so easily, as he says the department will not hesitate to prosecute such offenders.
If the person has no convictions and taking into account other mitigating factors on their behalf, that person would get a caution. But this is not designed to just, for summary offenses, to keep people out of court willy-nilly. Repeat offenders are still liable to prosecution.
There could be significant cost savings for the prosecution and for those being prosecuted.
The Crown has to be prepared, so a Crown counsel has to be prepared to attend court, and then the defendant himself is going to have to perhaps pay for a lawyer, would have to take time off from work. Witnesses would have to take time off from work to come to court. Then a magistrate has to be employed, and then the court staff. So there's quite a bit involved in prosecuting even the simplest of cases, because I say simplest of cases, but each case has its own nuances and complexities. So there could be significant cost reductions.
Receiving a caution will not be an overnight matter.
Once the police have a complaint, they would investigate that, and it will be after they have pulled the file together and they've got all the relevant evidence and statements from people that they will consider it. So I don't think that there's going to be a caution on the spot. The police still have to do their investigation of the alleged offense, pull the file together, and then make a decision.
Mr. Mussenden will also consider a similar caution guidance for other offenses, and in taking a restorative justice approach in all dispute resolution for cases that do not need to be brought before the court. He invites the public to submit their feedback. Two women with the One Bermuda Alliance Party have a strong difference of opinion on a certain subject. Mike Sharp has the story.
Opposition Deputy Leader Leo Scott supports her colleague, Pat Gordon-Pamplin, as a woman and understands the need to address sexism, but she differs when it comes to personal politics. Gordon-Pamplin is quoted as saying the House of Assembly should condemn posting of inappropriate and/or sexist comments on social media, referring to National Security Minister Wayne Keynes while in London. Gordon-Pamplin has asked for the inclusion of policies and procedures in the Parliamentary Code of Conduct that will embrace a culture of respect towards women. However, Ms. Scott says, let's look at the big picture.
Sexism is an issue, but there are a number of issues that we need to address in respect of women. Gender inequality, maternity leave, pay inequality, so it's not just sexism. 2, social media. We have all become either exhibitionists or voyeurs. So we're displaying our lives in public media or we're looking into the lives of people. And, you have to be careful before you hit that send button because you can't retract what's out there.
Ms. Scott says, let's not get personal.
I don't believe in personal politics. I understand why she feels the need to do this. However, the fact of the matter is that we all, whether we are members of Parliament or other, need to be careful about the things that we post on social media, number 1. Number 2, the decorum in the House should be applicable to everyone, not just women, but we should all be trying to cultivate a culture of respect and honesty. Minister Keynes made a mistake. He apologized for it. He suffered for it. His family has suffered from it. We've all made mistakes. So before you lob a grenade, think about the grenades that will be coming back to you.
We asked the deputy opposition leader, was it a difficult decision for her to take a different stance from her colleague?
I think that her heart is in the right place. I'm not against her. She's my colleague, and I support her as my colleague. But in principle, I just don't believe in personal politics. I don't believe in attacking people.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
Price Rate is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce, and an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world, and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Right at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
ABC Natural Foods will be hosting their annual late night shopping Saturday, December 15th from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Come enjoy a glass of non-alcoholic wine, finger foods, vegan cheese, and much more with 15% off store-wide, 20% on case items. Don't miss the mega sale of the year, Saturday, December 15th at the ABC Natural Foods, 41 King Street.
Getting ready for Christmas is all about the finishing touches.
The icing on the cake. The table neatly set. Decorations specially placed. And gifts thoughtfully wrapped. All to share with those we love. In special moments as simple as this.
Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Colonial, where people come first.
I'm Tony Waterman. Coming up on The Breakdown this week, we take the show on the road. We're at the International Cyber Risk Management Conference, where the experts are looking to tackle a $6 trillion a year problem, cyber crime.
Think of an apartment building full of people who are dedicated to hacking activities on behalf of nation states.
We'll talk about Bermuda's role and also how technology could help in the fight. That's on Thursday at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9.
Thanks for staying with us. The Shadow Education Minister Cole Simons is calling for Premier David Burke to personally intervene into the public education crisis. Public school staff across the island called in sick on Monday, escalating their dispute with government over a lack of resources and crumbling infrastructure. Tarai Trott asked Mr. Simons why he thought the Premier ought to take the helm.
Because education impacts everyone. Education basically provides the cornerstone for a successful economy going forward. Everyone, every parent wants the best for their child. They want the best opportunity for them. They want the best education.
Why is it assuring to you that the Education Commissioner referred the dispute between the BUT and government to the Labor Relations team?
Okay. Because it showed me the first substantive step forward out of this malaise. My issue with the whole situation is that there was a breakdown of communications. I mean, if you are a business, you have a vision, you share your vision with your executive, the executive shares the vision with their mid-managers, and they share the vision with their ground people. The same should apply in education.
Mr. Simon says frequent meetings between principals and officials would even go a long way.
I spoke to a principal just 2 days ago, and I said, "What do you think about this situation?" And she said to me, Shadow Minister Simons, if the government met with all the principals every quarter, they would have all the answers they need. There will be clear lines of communications. We can be the conduit from the department down to the teachers, to the paraprofessionals.
Asked if he believed public education was in a state of crisis,
I would say this. The delivery of public education has its challenges, and I don't believe that they are insurmountable.
Do you believe the BUT membership would be so up in arms if education was in the hands of an independent authority, as you've called for, instead of the government?
I would say this. Before that decision is made, a discussion would have to be held with the BUT, with the parents, with the business community, with college, with our educators, to make sure that they have input on how to develop this new model.
And a quick correction, last evening in our story on discussions between the BUT and the Ministry and the Department of Education, we indicated the source for our information on the outcome of the first day's talks was out of the Department of Labor Relations. That should have read the Department of Workforce Development. Weather now, and it was a bit chilly today, but mostly dry conditions ahead for the rest of the week. Let's hear more from AccuWeather.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
We're glad that you're joining us here on ZBM, and this is Jeff Cornish with your BF&M Insurance Group AccuWeather forecast. We're dealing with a pretty quiet time as we move through the next couple of days after the really active weather over the past few. We had a lot of rain, we had a lot of wind, big waves, and now things are beginning to relax a bit. We have winds from the west and northwest. Our front that produced a lot of the wind and rain recently is now well off to the east. The next storm system, and there it is, you can see it spinning its wheels over South Texas and parts of northern Mexico. That's going to become a rain producer for us, and it'll also eventually bring some warmer air back in as we get into early next week, and Sunday into Monday. But we have a little ways to go before that. So still cooler air is filtering on in on the heels of the recent front. Rain is gone. Most of the recent showers exited around midnight, 1 a.m., quite a ways away back in the middle of the night. 67 degrees is where we stand right now, so we're a lot cooler out there. Winds are active, still blowing from the west at 20 to 25 knots. Humidity's down, though, 55%, and the water temp's holding nearly steady at 69 degrees. On the inside, we have 2 to 3 foot wave heights. Still 6 to 10 footers are rocking and rolling on the outside, especially on the west side of the island because of that active wind. But the wind will begin to die down. So for now, a small craft warning remains in effect. Our friends at the Bermuda Weather Service are holding on to that until Thursday morning and through much of Thursday morning. And by the way, we have low tide at 6:15, so the tide's going to be coming back in all evening and through the overnight. High tide at 12:06 a.m. Another low tide at 5:51 Thursday morning, and high tide then right in the middle of the day at 12:25 in your Thursday. Breezy out there tonight, mainly dry though, partly cloudy. We'll get down to 61, and tomorrow temperatures will only rebound to 67 degrees on a partly sunny and breezy, but not as windy Thursday. Futurecast shows that we're going to hold on to that wind out there. Part of the factor, one of the driving factors behind that is this area of high pressure off of the Georgia and Florida coast, and then we have the recent front and low pressure off to the northeast. They're working in tandem to funnel some of that cooler air in from the northwest all the way down into our area. Eventually, it'll be more of a northerly wind and eventually a northeast wind that will steer around as we approach Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. Looking at the Caribbean, we have some scattered showers in Jamaica and Barbados. Nice day in Trinidad, though. Up into Tobago as well, we're in good shape there. Partly sunny and warm down into the Windward Islands. Into the eastern part of North America, we have Toronto 39, mainly cloudy. A mix of wintry precipitation, rain and snow mixed in New York City. Boston, chilly. Most of that New York disturbance misses Boston to the south. Atlanta's running cool and cloudy at 55. Miami, 79. Temperatures rebounding with some showers there. Across to the east, we have London at 41. A little nippy there in the United Kingdom. So we're cooler. It's still breezy, but the wind will become less of an issue as we get into Thursday night and Friday. Saturday, a nice day, and then we get warmer and wetter on Sunday into Monday with that system currently over northern Mexico making noise. Could even bring a rumble of thunder or two for some. We'll send it back to you.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
This summer I was in Germany on holiday with my family, and on a whim one day my son and I joined a speed sliding competition, and as I came down the water slide I went straight down in the pool and whacked my left foot on the bottom of the pool, and I looked down and I didn't see a foot. I just saw the bones sticking out and I started to feel faint. I was ambulanced to a hospital where I stayed for 11 days and had surgery. I had snapped all the ligaments on both sides of my ankle. And in the middle of all this stress and pain, we thought, how are we going to deal with health insurance? How will we pay for this? And I got a response from Allison at BF&M, and she said, your admission and surgery will be covered at 100%. I didn't have to put it on a credit card and deal with the reimbursement later. It made such a big difference to us. And for me, the BF&M difference is stress-free insurance when I really needed it.
Surface Terms has been serving Bermuda for over 25 years, supplying and installing tile and natural stone. We have a large in-stock selection of beautiful porcelain wood planking, including our exclusive Bermuda cedar tile. You will also find Bermuda's best in-stock selection of countertops, including natural granites, exotic quartzites, and silestone engineered quartz in all the newest colors. Our team will be happy to help you. Stop by our showroom at 17 Serpentine Road or give us a call at 295-8005.
Let's Talk is back. The TV talk show hosted by Gary Moreno airs live at 8 p.m. on Mondays. Real conversations with key figures in public life, going beyond the sound bites to explore and contextualize current affairs. And there's lots to talk about: jobs, tax reform, our changing economy, education, crime, and the environment. Discussing the issues that matter in depth and with personality. A new studio, a new look, or a new season. That's Let's Talk. Live Mondays at 8 p.m. on ZBM TV 9 and repeated at 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays at 8 a.m.
Back on the subject of education, the plight of public education dominating the motion to adjourn following today's sitting of the Upper House, with Independent Senator Michelle Simmons making an emotional plea for a resolution to the current impasse. Senator Simmons urging that all stakeholders work together to resolve the situation for the greater good. Gary Moreno has the story.
Expressing confidence in the system she was once part of, most recently as principal of the Berkeley Institute, Senator Simmons voiced the concern that a failure to deal with the problems affecting public education will have implications far beyond the classroom.
If we fail to do this, we will continue to be plagued by inequalities in our community, which lead to disaffection, feelings of not belonging, a sense that public education is not worth anything. Also, a sense that there is nothing here for me. And therefore, the separation continues in our society.
She hinted there's been a shortchanging of sorts of public education, and what we're witnessing is the evidence of that failure perpetrated against the system and the accompanying loss of faith in public education.
We cannot afford in this country to continue to expect the best if we don't put it in to our schools. We have, and we've seen it over the years, we've had a shrinking public education sector in this country. We can't afford to continue down that path either.
That loss of faith, the independent senator opines, is an indictment not against public education, but against the country.
In any country in the world, we must have a strong, vibrant public education sector to ensure that we are doing right by every person in this country. People shouldn't have to take their children out of public education and move them into the private sector because they fear that their children will not get the education they deserve in our public schools.
Senator Simmons telling her colleagues she's convinced the current situation impacting public schools can be positively dealt with, but there must be a willingness on the part of the various stakeholders, ranging from students to administration at the department and the Ministry of Education, to put aside any and all differences in the interest of the greater good.
Everyone has to be part of the solution. So we cannot keep having these divisions where teachers feel that they have no choice but to abandon the education of the children that they are there to serve.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Dr. Clarence Terceira, a founding member of the UBP, passed away at his Pembroke home yesterday at the age of 91. Dr. Terceira became the party's first treasurer in 1965 and held portfolios in education, health, and works in engineering. Former Premier Sir John Swan said that Tessie's highway became his legacy.
In fact, Dr. Terceira preceded me in the United Bermuda Party because he was one of the founding members of the United Bermuda Party and was a vehement supporter of many of the projects that I did during my 10 years Premier. He served as minister. Lots to do with the Ministry of Works and Engineering. In fact, East Borderway was one of the major ones. It was controversial, but we got it through. He was a very straightforward individual. Sometimes we agreed to disagree, but we've always kept great respect for one another. He gave a lot of himself to Bermuda. In fact, we bought some of the Terceira property up in Southampton to create the Southampton, the golf course there in Southampton, Port Royal, which was owned by some of the property was owned by his family, and he helps to build the infrastructure that, in terms of government policies and government involvement, infrastructure, and helping to make Bermuda the place that it has become in terms of projects and programs that really, in a sense, prepares us for the 21st century.
Former colleagues Trevor Munez and Michael Dunkley expressed sadness at the passing of Dr. Terceira. Mr. Munez said Tessie was always pleasant and cheerful. He was very energetic and he was great to both work with and for, having known him for years, end quote. And Michael Dunkley added, I served with Tessie when I entered the House in 1997, adding, history will show that Tessie contributed greatly to the progress of our island and we are grateful for his service through the years. Our sincere condolences to the family of Dr. Terceira. And a single car collision caused parts of North Shore near Blackwatch Pass to be closed down around 11 o'clock this morning. First responders found a man lying in the road. According to a witness, the car he was driving reportedly veered into the opposite lane, collided with the wall, and spun around. Police confirmed the man sustained serious chest injuries and was taken to hospital, where at last check he was warded on the intensive care unit, where he is listed in critical but stable condition. Police Public and Media Relations Manager Dwayne Keynes was on the scene this morning.
At 10:08 this morning, police and first responders attended a report of a road traffic collision that took place on North Shore Road, just east of Northgate at Government House. It appears that a male was traveling east on that said road when he lost control of his car and collided with the wall. EMTs, specifically the Bermuda Fire and Rescue Service, came. They noticed the man on the ground or outside of the vehicle. This resulted in the ambulance being called, and the man was taken to KMH, where he's right now being treated for chest injuries. The roads have been cordoned off whilst the scene is being processed by the relevant police officers.
And a second collision today on Crow Lane. A car ended up on a wall at the north roundabout. The vehicle was traveling in the lane heading out of the city of Hamilton when it's believed that the car collided with a motorcycle. Police say that the people involved in the crash sustained non-life-threatening injuries. There were brief traffic delays in the area, but traffic flow returned to normal shortly after 2 this afternoon. So to come, Earl Basin will have all the latest sports news in just a few minutes.
You can count on us. Fresh green beans, hot price only $2.69 per pound. Fresh top sirloin roast, best price around at $7.99 per pound. Dozen large white eggs, hot price $1.99. Pepperidge Farm herb stuffing, 8-ounce bags, hot price only $2.59. Save $2.20 on Arm & Hammer laundry detergent, 75-ounce bottles, hot price $9.79. Have a very Merry Christmas from the marketplace.
You can count on us. Treat yourself and your loved ones this Christmas at Diamonds International in Dockyard. Sensational bracelets like this 14 Diamond Dazzler, Asian-inspired jewelry by John Hardy, and Bremont Aviation watches. During the holidays, there is 15 to 75% off all merchandise, and this watch as a free gift with every purchase. Plus 5% of all shopping proceeds will be donated to the LCCA charity. There is nothing comparable on the island to the truly outstanding collection at Diamonds International in Dockyard.
At Argus, our interest is you. Each of you. Around here, we know that when two people seem the same, they can have very different insurance needs. For their health, home, work, and future. Which is why we take the time to get to know you as an individual, so we can provide insurance coverage that fits your life. Because after all, our interest is you.
Now, Earl Basin brings us the very latest news from the sports desk.
Minister of Immigration Wayne Keynes has responded to questions from the breaking story that we reported yesterday morning, in which the Supreme Court of Bermuda determined all persons deemed to belong to Bermuda are eligible to represent Bermuda in international sporting events. In Keynes' response, he is quoted as saying, quote, "This judgment will be reviewed against the background of best practice in the making of immigration policies, which requires fairness, the protection of Bermudian rights, and a system that reflects the expressed will of the people of Bermuda," end quote. ZBM Sports can reveal that Bermuda's women's under-15 national team coach Vance Brown has been nominated as a CONCACAF Women's Football Coach of the Year for 2018. Voting opened on Monday and will close Tuesday, January 8th, 2019. To vote for Brown, members of the public can log on to CONCACAF.com, find the awards, click the nominees, and find Female Coaches of the Year where Brown is a candidate and vote. Meanwhile, Nathan Trott and his West Ham United under-23 teammates' Group A Premier League International Cup campaign came to a close last evening with a 3-0 defeat at Southampton's Academy training ground. And St. Johnsbury Academy Sejan Harvey has been selected as a member of this year's Free Press All-State Boys Soccer Team. Harvey was named to the BFP First Team 2018, the Vermont Coaches Association All-State Team, and the Metro Division First Team for 2018. Another Bermuda St. Johnsbury player, Malik Jewell, was named to the Metro Division 1 Second Team honors. Rayshawn Birch continued competing in the CSI 2 and CSI YH1 Opal Bleak International Horse Jumping event at the Centaur Park in Belgium during the 1.35-meter 7-year-old Table A class. Birch and Columbine finished 43rd. The pair was clocked in a time of 76.28, but they had 7 penalty fault points. Birch and Pellegrino 51 finished 87th competing in the 1.40-meter Table A class. They clocked a time of 81.27, but they had 15 penalty fault points. Kamal Levrock and his Walkerville Cricket Club teammates went down by 54 runs in their ATCA City Holden Smash Division Group 1 T20 match against Paraka. Batting first, Paraka scored 131 for 6 in their allotted 20 overs. Levrock returned figures of 4 overs, none for 17, but he would hold on to a catch. In reply, Walkerville were bowled out for 77. Levrock was out without scoring. The Bermuda Basketball Association's under-19 team continued competing in the Heart Lake Winter Basketball Classic in Canada. Game 2 was a game that the Bermuda under-19 team could have taken advantage of, but they went down 33-39 to Brampton Christians. Bermuda Sandshell Association hosted its second annual Sanda Pandas in-house tournament at the Area Sports Center in front of a crowd of very enthusiastic parents and supporters last evening. 14 athletes competed in the in-house competition, where 6 gold, 6 silver, and 2 bronze medals were awarded to the winners. Udiah Trot Hayward was selected as the tournament's overall outstanding fighter, while Alessandro Davis was announced as the most improved fighter for 2018. In commercial league bowling action at the Warwick Lane, it saw the new league leaders, Secret Weapons, defeat the Sunset 4-0. The Braves defeated the Spinners 4-0. BTC defeated We Do It Big 3-1, while the BPS Blue Lanterns got by Cool Runnings 3-1. The Pin Pushers defeated BLDC 10-Pin Mafia 3-1, and the match between Sweet Life and the Superstars ended 2-2. I'm Earl Basden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sport.
And that's our program for this evening. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.